Hey guys, it's Jesse from Soulpree, and I want to talk about something that happened yesterday. There was on Reddit a user who posted this particular photo in the Get Motivated subreddit, and all hell broke loose with the Redditors, sort of a cynical backlash about this particular photo. Now, on the surface, I saw it and thought, okay, it makes perfect sense. Like, we use food to feel good when we have anxiety, and we'll talk about that in another video. And then exercise is known to improve our mood, so it's an antidepressant. But most of the people in the thread actually were talking about clinical depression and how using exercise simply wasn't going to cut it. So I thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is actually speaking to something entirely different, and it's not just talking about the average person who maybe has some lethargy. So I wanted to know, is there any credence to, can exercise cure depression? My plan originally was actually to show you the Reddit thread, but I think because of all the vitriol in the comments that the mods may have actually deleted it. That or I just suck at finding things on Reddit. So off to Google Scholar we go to look for some research. The most conclusive study I found was this one, and I'll have all these studies in the description. If you go to the description, I'll put the links there, and you can pull up the studies yourself. This is the most conclusive study I found. It actually had to do with older patients, so people over the age of 50, both men and women. They're split into 3 groups. People doing aerobic exercise, which there are other studies that have shown that's useful. People taking an antidepressant, and then a combination of both the medication and exercise. And they did this regimen that they set up for 16 weeks, and the self-reported scores actually all changed statistically significantly, and none of the groups actually showed a difference between each other, meaning that exercise actually did prove to be just as effective as medication over that 16-week period, or I guess at the end of the 16-week period. Interestingly, though, the group that was only taking medication responded faster. Like, they started to feel better faster than the people that were doing exercise only, or the people that were taking medication and exercise. So that might be something interesting to kind of like get somebody to study in the future. So we know that there's some positive results there, but what other studies could I find? So I found this one as well. This one actually pertained to undergraduates. You'll find most research is done on undergraduates because they're a willing and able body of research participants, because research is often done on university campuses, and there's lots of students around, and typically there's some kind of fee or money paid or class credit or something involved in research. So this group, undergraduates like we would expect, broken into 2 different groups. Aerobic exercise, and they were swimming, and non-aerobic exercise of weight training, so going to the gym and lifting. And they found that there was no difference between the groups in terms of effect, and that there was a positive effect, that the exercise again showed an improvement in self-reported depression. So it's kind of important to remember that it is self-reported. Psychology as a discipline is fairly young, so it's a little hard for us to know how to quantify absolutely everything. And that means that a lot of things are going to be self-reported, which is a little bit more murky, because we're working inside your own mind to try to quantify these things on paper. One thing I did see, I was curious about, was is there anything that could show exercise and an increase in depression, or any other kind of links? So I found a different study, and this one actually pertained to a small group of what they refer to as compulsive exercisers, 20 pros and 51 regular Joes that they consider as compulsive. I couldn't find here in their abstract what they're actually defining as compulsive, but we're going to assume they're working out a lot. And they actually found that among those compulsive exercisers, there's actually very high ratings of anxiety and depression, even more so for the professionals. What I'd like to know with this particular study and with the people in particular is, are they depressed because they're working out to such excess, or are they working out to such excess to try to self-medicate? Because there is some kind of positive effect with exercise, like we've seen in the other couple studies that I've shown you. The whole causation correlation problem here is that we don't know if the depression is caused by something underlying that has nothing to do with the exercise, or if the exercise is the actual cause itself. But we do see that there's some kind of correlation with these compulsive exercisers and depression. Now, we've seen these things. Okay, yes, we can say they have a positive effect, but can we say that it actually cures depression? I'm not quite ready to call that one. I know, I guess going back to this study with the overexercisers, I know I personally experienced a lot of anxiety when I was bulking up my mileage in the pool. I had wanted to be a professional triathlete, so that involves lots of time in the pool, lots and lots of exercise, 7 days a week, multiple times a day. And I bulked up too fast. And I got to the point where I just got this feeling of dread every single time I went to the pool. I'd sit on the sideline, waiting to get in, not wanting to get in, just being anxious. And, I talked to, previous coaches about it, and I don't think they quite had the scope of what was going on, because they kind of thought about, I was just afraid of it being cold, or trying to write it off as something else. And I don't think it was negligence on their part. I think it's really just a matter of ignorance that they wrote it off. But I will say I had to cut my mileage back from, I was doing about 20,000 kilometers a week in the pool, back to about 10, and that alleviated a lot of my personal symptoms. So for me, it was a causation thing, but clearly just anecdotal. I'm, case of one, so not going to be applicable to everybody. So ultimately, I think what we can say is that there's some positive effect with exercise and feeling better. I think definitely with my original thought with the image, that somebody who just has average lethargy, like doesn't feel very good, but is not clinically depressed, which is different than just feeling depressed or feeling down, that exercise definitely is going to have a positive effect and change the way you feel about yourself, and that we probably are going to get some good effects for people who have clinical depression. But the mind is a fickle thing, and we don't have it all down to a perfect science yet. So I personally think there's zero shame in treating clinical depression with medication, if that is what's going to be effective for you, so that you can live a happier, healthier life. Absolutely no reason not to explore that, because you as kind of providence of being alive, I feel like you should take advantage of the opportunity you have of kind of being in the world and engaging in the world and contributing and experiencing the best that life has to offer, whether that means that exercise helps you, or medication helps you, or a combination thereof. So I say, no, we don't know yet the exercise can actually cure depression, but there are some positive there are some positive indications that it should help. If there's other studies you've seen you'd like to share with me, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to check them out. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as I talk more about exercise, athletes, and kind of mental mindset of being an athlete and getting the most out of your life. I'll see you next time.